Many are questioning why Senator James Orengo's statement came out today. Why now? Why not last week? Why not in January, for example, when Jacomo was stoned in Githurai? Why not last year? Why not last week in Mombasa? Because we've seen a few other instances that actually demonstrated that the deep state was keen on frustrating Raila Odinga. So why now? It's very simple. Events of last week. If you saw what happened across the country in London ward in Nakuru, in Kiamokama ward in Kisii, in Matungu constituency, and in Kabuchai constituency in Trans Nzoia, you will agree that the states, there were allegations of state officials interfering with the elections. We saw videos, video recordings of police officers watching goons harass election agents. We saw goons assault election officials, yet nothing or nobody was even told to record a statement among the perpetrators. For example, the boys or the goons who harassed and beat up Honorable Nixon Koril in London Ward, nothing happened to them. The boys who were actually assaulting and talking obscenities to an IBC officials in Kabuchai, the lady, if you remember that video, nothing happened. Those boys are scot-free. Yet what they did, that was a crime. That was a criminal offense. That was assault. It was straightforward. But nothing happened. If you go to Matungu constituency, there are allegations that goons allied to Senator Malala did so many illegal things, but nothing. Even Senator Malala, nobody even summoned him to write even a statement. It was obvious that the state was hell-bent to make sure that Musalia Mudavadi's allies win the by-elections in Western Kenya. So they were trying to give Musalia a head start in the upcoming, to build like a home ground, to have a support base. Yet we know that Musalia may control at most 30% of Western province if we go to with the 2013 numbers when he contested for the presidency. So they are trying to give Musalia a head start. This is actually what sent panic to Raila Odinga or to his followers, because Raila Odinga knows where it's coming from, or ODM knows where they've come from. They've been rigged out. They've bared the blunt of state officials, especially the police. We know what happened, for example, in 2017, even in 2013, when supporters of ODM, especially in 2017, when ODM supporters were actually shot by the police for engaging in public rallies, which are actually constitutionally sanctioned by the by the law. So, but they were, some of them were shot dead, Pendo and the rest. So it is obvious. That's why Senator James Orengo came out to protest, because the state, the high-handedness of the state in the by-elections, that they were hell-bent to make sure that the allies of Musalia Mudavadi win in the by-elections, is actually the whole trigger. It's obvious that there have been always issues in the boardroom, which Raila has tried to maybe to resolve together with his brother Uhuru Kenyatta, but the state officials, the so-called deep state, are kind of ignoring Uhuru Kenyatta and doing their thing. So basically, now Raila Odinga is coming, the members of the public, is actually coming to the public as his last line of defense. So he's basically telling the people that the handshake is actually in danger, because some deep state officials are frustrating his agenda, and they are not keen on even officiating or overseeing a free and fair election come 2022. And Raila is not keen on going to an election that he knows will be flawed. That is actually what's happening. So Orengo's statement was actually triggered by the likes of Senator Malala, the likes of the OCBD, OCS, or the security agents that participate in the violence or supervised election violence across the country in the by-election that we had last week. That is it, nothing else. There is nothing new. We know that deep state has been frustrating Raila, but the fact that they confirmed that they are keen on even rigging, so they were putting measures in place how an election will be conducted 2022. So actually that is the thinking in ODM, that what we saw was a precursor to 2022. This is what the state will do. So they use force to make sure that a certain person or certain candidates who are preferred cross the 50+1 mark for presidency. And that's why Raila is now coming to these people as a last line of defense, saying, hey, good people, this is what's happening. So beat the church. Are they doing this now because we push the BBI agenda? And it's almost passing because it has passed the heart of the county and a referendum is going to pass. And yet we know that BBI is a regional document. It's actually regional document. It doesn't represent, other than the governance structure, nothing else there is there for the rest of the country. So yeah, are they doing this now that because the BBI has reached the point where it's a point of no return that we have to pass it? So what happens to Raila Odinga, or what happens once we pass the referendum? Will they even frustrate Raila Odinga more? So these are the questions that are being raised by Raila Odinga, and I'm sure they've tried to resolve the issues in the boardroom, but nothing has been done. So that's why they've come to the people. They are taking the war with the deep state to the people. It's now the members of the public to decide whether wanaenda maandamano ama wangoje for normal crucifixion ikiibiwe tena 2022.